Welcome to Getting Back Up, where grief meets growth.
Two men, two fathers, and one shared journey of rebuilding.
We're talking about life after cancer, love, loss, and everything no one tells you.
How you doing? I'm Jamal Jones.
And I'm David McClain. We welcome you back to Getting Back Up, Finding Life After Death. Jamal, I've got a tale for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had one of those moments where that emergency call came in.
Ooh,
Yeah.
first, he's talking about the first emergencies or those first critical calls that you get, in particular after your late wife passes or after your partner passes.
Yeah.
And you get that scare.
Yeah, and it's that 20 minutes away that you're away from things and can't get to the people involved. So, yeah, it was a tough one in that sense.
20 minutes away, that feels like a long time, especially when it's your child.
Yeah, I mean, it may be, but it's your mind telling you it's much further away, especially when you don't know what's going on in that situation, and all you're thinking about is getting there. It's just real, man. And you feel helpless.
And I'm glad we're talking about this because this is something, honestly, that a lot of parents, in particular, as we say, men don't talk about, right? Like that gap, like that time between the phone call and the truth, like figuring out what's really going on, like your mind is spinning. It's going all over the place.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it's like, you got to have these conversations. Unfortunately, emergencies happen. Right?
Yeah, and it was for the oldest daughter, and then you realize you believe you teach them a lot to go out in that world, and you think you're preparing them as much as you possibly can, but once they enter into those public spaces, man, it's something different.
Yeah, and you want to, yes, you try to give them all these lessons, but you just want to prepare them to figure out how to get them through these moments so that everybody gets home safely. Everybody's good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, but listen, before you jump, because I know your stories, this situation is kind of heavy. I want to kind of jump into my.
Yeah.
I have a good one that it was literally, I think might have been one of the first, emergency calls that I got. And so I'm out one day. This is literally a few months after. This is probably about a year after Janice, my late wife, passed away. And I'm out at Costco because I got a membership. Probably like 20 years, I think I've had a membership.
Okay.
And every time I want to cancel it, for some reason, I just I buy the gallon size of olive oil. So, because I'm always cooking, frying something. So,
and baking and other.
And I just sit there.
I'm not our wellness plan.
I'm not one to that. Yeah, I'm not one dimensional here. So, I'm at Costco, loading up everything in the car, get into the car, and I see like 3 missed calls from Jackie, my oldest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? So I finally get situated and I call her and I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's like, Dad, everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And at this point, Jackie's probably like 15. She's like, don't worry, everything's okay. The fire department just got here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The fire department just got here. She's like, okay, well, there was a little situation in the kitchen, and they're old enough. Jackie's cooking. The kids cook occasionally. I try to tell them like limit what you're doing until I'm home.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, Zaya, she was using the microwave, and I came downstairs and I heard their fire alarms, and
she
realized.
so
Zaya is, at the time, she's probably 10, right?
Okay.
So I'm walking in. I'm like, okay, well, hold on, Dad. The fire department wants to talk to you. And I'm like, wait, what? So I get on the fire. Hey, Mr. Jones. I'm like, yeah. It's like, verifies the address. Are these your children? Yeah. I just went to the grocery store. And they were like, no problem. We just, your daughter called the fire department, and listen, she did everything right. Listen, if she needs a job, we're hiring her. And I'm like, okay, thank you. This is funny. Ha ha. Like, what's going on? Like, my kids are okay. And he's like, no, they're fine. Jackie, she opened the windows. And so there's no, low smoke damage. And I'm like, smoke damage? Like,
Shoot.
You know, and he's like, you might have some cleaning up to do,
Oh,
but
boy.
and I'm like, oh God, come on. So finally, I'm getting again. This is a long ride. I'm 20 minutes. I'm calling my sister-in-law because she doesn't live too far. I'm like,
Okay.
can you get to the kids? Can you get to the kids? She's like, I'm busy. I'm like, oh man.
Oh, wow.
So finally, I get there. Fire department's like they're rolling down the street.
Yeah.
As I'm like, man, y'all ain't even wait till the parents get home. Like, I get to the front of the house, my neighbors are standing out there, and I'm like, oh hell, like now I gotta deal with the embarrassment. Like, hey, you left your kid here there. What kind of parent are you?
So you leave them at home. Isn't that true, Gertrude? Why does he live?
So I'm like, so I walk in, they're like, yeah, everything's okay, and I'm like, oh, thank you. I run in the house, and Jackie's standing in the living room, and she's just staring at me, and Zaya's just staring there, like looking guilty, like something.
Yeah.
I walk in, I'm like, what happened? The kitchen is a mess.
Oh, wow.
Like when it's cold, it's like winter.
Oh, boy.
Right. And it's Austin, so it ain't freezing, but it's like 30, 40 degrees in the house.
Yeah.
All the windows on the first floor are open. And
What'd the kitchen look like? Like,
oh, it's literally covered in fire retardant.
oh, really?
So Jackie, she did the right thing.
Okay.
She unleashed the fire extinguisher, which I always reminded her that
Wow.
here's where the fire extinguisher
That's
is.
good.
And they used it. She knew how to pop the pin out.
Yeah.
Great job.
Wow.
But I mean, the fire, there's fire retardant everywhere, all over the kitchen.
Oh, man.
The microwave looked like it's crazy. So Zaya heard me and I think Jordan and I. It was like one of the first times we hung out with the kids, and somehow we were talking about things we used to do as kids.
Jordan, who you were
Jordan
Jordan,
who's now. So we were talking about, like, you know, back in the day, you put microwave in the bag, the chip bag in the microwave would shrink. I don't know. I guess it was made of plastic and not metal.
So a potato chip bag or something was just thrown in like an experiment or something?
Yeah. So she throws the bag in
Uh-huh.
the microwave to see if it would shrink.
Oh, boy.
But these bags are made of metal, so it lights the microwave up.
Oh, my goodness.
Fire and everything. So I'm looking at her like, you ain't allowed to touch the microwave. You ain't allowed a bag of chips, a snack. Don't even look in the kitchen for like the next 2 months. You're grounded.
Yeah.
Right.
So you said all that?
Oh, yeah, I said all of that.
Okay.
So, and we told her, like, don't try anything crazy without talking to me or at least Jackie. She's older. She'll be like, nah, don't do that.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, it's, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody's harmed. We're not in the hospital. But it was the craziest 20 minutes of, like, just taking the time to, like, get to the house and see if the kids are okay.
Not fully knowing what the situation is until you got there.
And
how they were.
Like, thankfully Jackie did a great job of handling the situation. Like, she got the A+. Zaya was was in punishment. You got to, like, hand out the lessons. I think she's still afraid. She's 16. I think she's still, like, afraid to use the microwave.
So the 16-year-old is now one who's now 16.
16. Yeah.
She's afraid to even
She's like
anything outside 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
and it's got to be hard food.
Yeah, she ain't playing.
Not
like,
anything synthetic or whatever.
No, she ain't no chip bags. We haven't seen that since then.
That's good.
But I say all that to say, like, even in the humor of it, I could laugh at it now, but in the moment, man, that was the longest drive. And then walking to the house was like the biggest fear. Even when I heard voices on the phone, you still want to lay eyes on your kids to make sure that they're okay. But, that was...
And it says something about how you have trained the girls to say, hey, this is, if I'm not here, or this is how we deal with things. And so they went right in.
I had always told Jackie, if you feel it's an emergency, call the police department, call 911 first, then call me. And you keep calling me until I call you back.
Yeah.
And she did that, right? And she followed the rules, and they all know that. But I say all that to say, it's like the lessons that we teach in these emergencies. But your story is a little bit, not a whole lot of laughter. And so, yeah.
No, you're right about that.
Yeah.
So this, not too long ago, but one of the aunties had called me to so the girl's niece, or I should say their cousin, so niece to the auntie, that they hadn't hung out in a while, and they wanted to just go to this big mall and just do what they do, and just kind of shop and whatever. And fantastic, because they hadn't seen each other in a while, and it gives me a break. And with the woman I'm dating now, that we could spend some time together. And actually, I was going to an event with her for her son.
Right.
And so I could see what that was and how I kind of fit into that setting and whatever. I'm like, perfect. So it was a matter of, all right, so I'll take my two girls over to the mall to meet the auntie,
Right.
and then also their cousin, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
They could go do what they needed to do and hang out and whatever. I was like, great. And then I was going to be 20 minutes away
Right.
at this function with the woman that I am dating.
Yeah.
So I dropped my two girls off. As I mentioned, I go to my event and I'm there and I want to be present and everything. And, my phone starts to ring. A couple of my friends had called. I let that go. It's like, I'm at his event. I'll talk to these people later. But then I got a call from the auntie who was with my girls. And so their cousin.
Right.
I said, ooh, she wouldn't normally call me unless this is serious. So I kind of did the tap. I'll be right back.
Right.
I don't
let the woman you're dating know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not, right up in front, and, that's not cool. So I went off to the side and she said, Miella, my oldest, has collapsed. What? She's passed out. What do you mean? She's passed out. She's fine.
At the mall.
At the mall.
Wow.
And so she said, she's fine. We gave her some food and she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of auntie had said to Miella, the oldest who had passed out, did you want your dad to pick you up? Did you want to stay with us? But you want dad to pick you up? Okay.
Okay. So it's serious enough that she wants you to come and get her.
I'm on the way.
Yeah.
Because
which you probably would have gone even if she didn't want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I just went back and I did the whole dimples and charm and to everybody and to the woman I'm with. And as I think I mentioned to you at one point, that this woman I'm dating is very much like my mom, where is trying to leave church with your mom and she has to talk to everybody and is, man, we go eat. I mean, it's that kind of exit.
It's the
essentially.
It's the half hour goodbye before you actually want to leave.
5 minutes. We're going to leave in 5 minutes. It becomes 30 minutes type of thing. But she was ready to go.
She kind of sensed probably where you were too.
Yeah. And she kind of, because my demeanor changed. Less dimples and charm at that point. It was focused and directed.
I can picture you.
Because you know me.
You're standing there tight like,
oh, yeah. I'm like, all right. It was just, ooh, what happened? So I'm pulling her and I tell her what has happened. And so we're leaving, going to the car. And I had driven, so I said, let me drop you off and my voice is very much like this. And I'm going to need to drop you off and go get Miella and understand what's going on there.
Yeah.
Okay. And she doesn't know what to do in that situation.
Because you're still processing this.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't truly know. Yes, you told me my child is okay on the phone. But I have to feel and touch and see and understand exactly if she is okay.
Because in every time that you think, oh, I'm gonna drop my daughter off here, there's a part of you there's a small part of you that's like, I'm not ready yet.
Yes,
I'm not ready.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's made easier when you have a partner who can also aid in making sure safety and all these other things.
Yeah.
So she's trying to, do you want to talk? No, I really don't want to talk. And so, and this was going through the seasons again and she is very responsible, very competent. She has her own balancing act as it relates to her household and her children and what she teaches them and what have you. So I think this was the first time she is realizing how weighty this situation was for me post losing my late wife.
Right.
Drop her off. I'm driving making up that 20 minutes, thinking about what I'm going to say or do once I see.
Run the lights.
Right. Keep it under the speed limit and be cool about it, And so I get there and they bring Miella down and Kara, her sister, comes as well. And then the cousin comes down.
Okay.
And so Miella kind of looks at me with a little smirk. Hi, Dad. And walks up to me. And I just do the, you don't say anything, because I don't have to yell or anything. It's that look. It's just.
Right. This is what I say, you don't.
Something's up. Something's going to happen, And I'm thinking of the conversation
Yeah.
that I'm going to have with her. I'm not going to have it in the car
Mm-hmm.
because she ain't going to listen when I'm in the car and,
Right.
and saying all. What am I going to say once we get home to the house? So we pull up to the house, come sit down at the table in my kitchen. Our kitchen, I suppose.
Yeah. So you kept it quiet the whole ride.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Was there any conversation, or you were just like, yeah.
No, just a little. I said, you're very lucky.
Like, you'd be like, you had a good time?
Right, exactly. Almost meaning, I don't know when you're going to have a good time again. After this?
Right.
I don't know if good times are in the future anymore. So anyway, I get her home. I sit her down at the table. And I said, Miela, the events that happened earlier today could have been avoided. Last night, you passed out in this mall where you all were.
Right.
And it was a lack of food. You had not eaten. Last night, I had made a meal. You chose not to eat.
Right.
But you know how to cook. I said, cook that or warm up this or whatever.
Throw something in the oven.
Throw something, whatever, microwave, whatever. She didn't want to do that. I said, Miel, you got to eat.
Right.
She chooses not to.
So she didn't eat breakfast. She didn't
eat dinner, and she didn't eat breakfast that next morning. Anything. We got protein bars. We got plenty to at least put something in your stomach. She got cereal that she buys and all of that. She didn't eat anything. Her sister ate.
Yeah.
And got up early, had her little waffles going and all like that. Miela chose not to eat. So I said, Miela, you are a growing young woman.
Right.
You need fuel in your body. You can't be out running around and not have something in your body.
Right.
Because see what happens when you don't put fuel in your body. You're passed out. And then a stranger.
So it was a stranger.
She had separated from the group to go do whatever very quickly. She passed out. A stranger found her and stayed with her.
That could have gone. And so how did the stranger connect with?
I think it was a call to the auntie or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And so I said to Miela, you are so fortunate that you had someone who cared enough to stay with you until her people could come to your aid.
Right.
So I said, there are a lot of people who are strangers and will not take care of you, and they can take off with you because this sex trafficking is real. These little cute girls and your little cute friends and stuff, it's an opportunity.
Oh, yes.
For those people
trafficking. I mean,
absolutely.
There's crazy people out there who are walking around just, looking for opportunity to take advantage of somebody.
Exactly. And I said, they could have taken you away and done unspeakable.
What was her response when
she stood up? That she was more. Before it's more like whatever, Dad kind of look, but then it's like, oh, yeah, okay. And so I had mentioned that, and then I had just said about you need to know, all of y'all need to know where each other
at all times
are at whatever time.
Yeah.
And that can't happen. When you separate, folk got to know where you are.
Right. Especially listen, like, I know adult women who are like, they go to hang out at a restaurant, a bar, and I go to the restroom. I'll go with you. Right. Anybody want to go with me? Because that's a safety thing. You don't know what you're gonna deal with. Like these are important lessons that, and I hate to say it, but we gotta fight, strike the fear of God into our daughters to make sure that they know
this real world.
Yeah.
And then the thing I said to her is, I know these calls are going to come now that your mother has gone anyway.
Yeah.
And these emergencies are going to happen. And you have to understand, Miela, that I felt helpless and powerless because I wasn't there.
And that's
20 minutes away.
And there's a recall for you on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, all those feelings came back when I got that call when Nalani was in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I was in therapy in, where we live.
Mm-hmm.
And it would take me 20 minutes
Right.
to get back into the city where she was in the hospital in New York City,
Yeah.
where she was getting all of her care. When she was there with another one of the play aunties, one of my good friends,
Right.
and to know at that time when Nalani was in the hospital, she even said herself, "I'm not going home, am I?" So all those feelings flooded right back, and I said to Miela, "That's something I have to deal with.
Right.
These calls are going to come anyway."
Right.
But at that moment, I felt all that and went right back to that time when I got that call from one of the aunties when Nalani was in the emergency room and she wasn't coming home.
Yeah.
So when I said, Miela, that's for me to deal with.
Right.
I have to deal with that. And she stood up. She understood.
And I think there's a part, right, where in the grieving process as a family, and it's a responsibility we have to put onto our children to understand that the decisions they make don't only affect them.
Yep.
Right. That we're all accountable. You're accountable to their safety and mental health and grieving process as well, as much as they're accountable at their particular ages of understanding, here are the right things that I need to do.
Yep.
Right. To take pressure off my dad of having to worry about me, to make things easier for him in certain capacities. Again, age appropriate. We're not asking them to be adults, but we are asking them to be aware of certain things. So, I mean, what was her her response? Did she really hear you when you?
She heard me in that moment, but we know how our children are. It's going to be forgotten because the emergency has passed.
Yeah.
And they just go on to the routine just as if nothing
there'll be
else
something else.
Happened.
But I think you at least we know, because I know at least I feel like with Zaya, my 16-year-old, there are times, same thing. She used to do the same thing.
Yep.
Come home at the end of the day and look pale. I'm like, are you all right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm hungry. I didn't eat all day. And I'm like,
come on.
Why are you not? Oh, I didn't like the lunch at the school. Let's take a bar. I don't like bars. Let's take a granola bar. I don't like granola bars.
Our picky children.
I'm like, what? Okay, quick. So now I'm like, listen, every Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, we're planning a grocery list. You can tell us what you want or come with us so you could pick out your things. And in that part, at least now, she leaves the house and she's, we buy her these little smoothies and peanut butter crackers. I'm like, something. I don't care what it is at this point. A pack of gummies, something. Right? But that's
yeah, man. And so my youngest came home after that, Kara, and then also their cousin came home. And I said the same thing I said to Miela to them. So that it was a broadcast message. Everybody is aware that there is this sense of care for all of y'all. And the same message should be said to everyone.
Right.
Because they're going to hear it differently anyway.
Yeah.
But you need to know these things are going on, interpret it the way you need to, but understand the reality is there's a lot to fear and think about.
Right.
And we're doing our best to protect you from that. But some of that stuff, it just happens too often.
And we have to have these conversations. Yeah. And with our daughters and our sons.
Yeah.
Like we have to let them know that, hey, this is something we all have to be responsible. I need you to hold these things responsible. First and foremost, I need you to take care of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of food in this house. If there's not enough, let me know. If something you don't like, let me know. The things you need for your physical care, your health care, your clothes, these things, I need you to be on that so I can cover everything.
It also speaks to one of our prior episodes where we were talking about our children moving and our role in their lives, that we were so much protector, which we always will be, but now it's more guidance.
Yes.
Especially because they're
trying to give them this freedom.
Yeah, exactly, because that's going to happen. Yeah. But let me just kind of bookend this story. I was on the train commuting back, and
this is the same later on.
Later in that week, which was very interesting. And we live in an area where we commute back to a town and an area like a corridor where there's a lot of construction, new
Right.
rails, and it used to be 7 rails,
Yeah.
and now it's 2 or whatever. So they cancel a lot of trains on the way back. So I was on one of those canceled, very crowded trains.
Mhm.
There were no seats. So you're sitting in between the cars, like kind of shimmy and rock and shake and all that.
Mhm.
So I'm in that middle area and with some other people. And there are 2 other young women, one who was pregnant.
Okay.
And then there was another dude who was standing right in front where the window is, and I'm looking this way, and there's that pregnant woman kind of right behind me on my right shoulder. And I just took notice of her. She didn't look great.
Okay.
There was something,
I mean, first of all, she's standing up, and why is she?
and she's standing up and pregnant. So it's kind of, come on, folk, what's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
they ain't no more good Samaritan. Like, not a lot of good Samaritans.
Well, you're right, but I guess you find the right ones, especially in this situation. So we're going along, the train's moving slowly because of all of the delays of all the trains and the schedules of getting out not only Amtrak, but then also the regional trains that are going back to New Jersey where we live. And so then I just see she's a little uneasy, and she grabs my arm all of a sudden. I'm about to pass out. I was like, oh, and I grab her, and before she's falling down, and I sit her down on what was cold and where air is coming in. And there was this man kind of standing there and kind of in the way, and 250 and whatever. And I'm like, hey man, you're gonna need to move. And he's kind of stuck in place, and I grabbed him, like this, and I whoa man, hey man, and he went over that. Well, I'm calm, me and everything. And so he gets out of the way, and then it's packed either way. Remember, I'm in between the cars.
Yeah.
There's the door that closes on both sides.
Okay.
And so then I tapped somebody on both sides. I said, listen, tell the conductor that we have a situation here and all that. And everybody's kind of looking around, and then I had to do that parental voice. What I need you to do is tell the next person to bring the conductor here. And I said it on both sides, and then,
and finally people are like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they become 12 again. They hear. They start to hear,
Yes.
So then 2 RNs come and help the young woman. Okay, how you doing? Oh, yeah. Are you pregnant? Okay, how far along? Okay, have you had much water today? No? Okay, all right. And so they're just going through the steps, calming everything down and everything. Wonderful. Just wonderful. Conductor comes.
So there are a few. There's some.
There are some.
Okay,
they
good.
respond at the right time.
Yeah.
Samaritans, they respond at the right time. So that was handled, and we went multiple stops, and we talked to the young woman. Hey, do you have somebody who can get you at your stop? Yeah. My husband's gonna be there. Oh, okay, good. And I'm all the while I could take it off her jacket and coat so she could breathe and whatever. And she's like, thank you very much. No to me, but the RNs do most of the work and whatever. And then folks are getting off at the different stops, and you guys did a great job. Hey man, you could have done something. Don't tell me that's what I'm thinking. Right. I didn't say that to her, but I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of the nurses get off, and then the other one gets off at my stop, and whoa, that was some kind of incident there. Yeah. And we just said goodbye, and that was it. So my feeling was someone took care of my child 4 days ago, a stranger.
Right.
I've got to then jump into action as well. It just happened.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I see it, is that idea of paying it forward essentially, but it's really about someone's has taken care of my child. Yeah. I need to do the same for somebody else's child.
And that's, and the story is great there, because when we're on the flip side of the emergency, we're thinking the worst. What if somebody tried to hurt our daughter?
That's
what
correct.
if somebody tried to take advantage of them?
That's right.
But there is scenarios like this one where people are on the other side of this. And yeah, some people may need some prodding to jump into action, but some people like yourself, like those nurses, like they jump into action in a positive light.
Right.
And that's the stories you want to hear. But it also allows you to also reflect on, man, this thing that happened to my family a few days ago, right? I have to now have the opportunity to pay it forward, to your point.
Yeah.
Like somebody took the time to sit with my daughter.
That's right.
When in my angst and my worry, I was thinking the worst. What if? But the reality was somebody was there to
Yeah.
hold her hand, right?
Yeah.
Like you did with this
Right.
woman.
Right.
So
Right. And others coming to her aid.
yeah.
But
I mean, I think what this does, though, I mean, I think it does allow you to really connect on the reality. Like, yes, your ability to pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the reality of like the situation with Miela was, it's a crazy society.
Yeah.
And not everybody is going to be joyfully with the best intention sitting there willing to hold a hand when it's in somebody's moment of need, right? Somebody's going to be there and doing something different.
Yeah.
Looking for, right. And that is, it's more rare. It's not as rare as we think, right? And I think that's the scary part.
Yeah, I think the harm that can become our children, girls in particular, because we raise girls to be independent women, but women specifically, as we think about this sex trafficking that is happening, thousands to millions of young women and boys are taken every year. And it's not just the person that
right,
or that person in the van and all of that. It's this real grooming and manipulation that leads to this abduction.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like, to your point, like we grew up in a period of time where it was always the person in the person in the van, or don't accept candy from strangers,
exactly,
type of thing, right? And the reality is that it is different now, like with social media, with so much around, like just internet access that isn't the person right next door. And sometimes it is the person. Sometimes it is somebody in the neighborhood. Sometimes it's somebody on social media,
right?
Somebody on an app who's or on a game, right? Because you got these elements where people on video games can communicate, like the whole dynamic of adults on video games pretending to be kids and grooming grooming other kids into meeting them someplace or sending them pictures or whatever. Like that's man, I hate to say, I wish it was still the person in the van.
Because they're easy identity.
It's easier. Like, don't get in that. If there's a black van with tinted windows, don't get in that. Like, do not. Like, you can at least say to your kids, only accept rides from, friends in the family, or you're like this group of people. It's no longer that.
Exactly.
Right.
And we don't know what the geographic and physical corridors for sex trafficking actually are, because it's any opportunity.
It's international.
It exists. Yeah.
So
we want to kind of give you all some thoughts. We kind of looked into maybe what you could, maybe guidance for your children, just some statistics as well to a certain degree, but more so about just to expand on this whole idea of keeping your children safe.
Especially as a widower.
Yeah.
Or a widow who just lost the second half of your security system.
Yeah. You just need some amount of assurance that there are people out there, and or advice you can give your children that keep them as safe as possible. And I think the first one really is this teaching them awareness and not fear. And you have to use simple language, and it has to be age appropriate with your children. You say to them something along the lines of trusting your feelings. If something feels off, it probably is.
Right. Right.
And so in those conversations, to a degree, it's almost this role play with your children.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk about, if you're lost in a store, what do you do? What are the things that you need to do?
Right.
Who do you need to contact? If you're approached by an adult you don't know, do you really respond to them? They don't know you.
Right.
So it's having those kinds of situations where you can practice, well, what you may need to do.
Yeah.
And I think also, if you underscore with the children that safer adults are not the ones that ask you for help.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, I often talk to my daughter sometimes, and I'm like, well, why were you late? Oh, I had to help, a friend do this or this friend do that. Okay, cool. But then when it starts getting to I had to help an adult do something, then, I had to stop, and I didn't get to do, like, those are the times where you have to flag the risk, right? Because to your point, adults should not be asking little kids. I'm not going to ask my friends' wives for help. Like, they're adults. Like, because I don't want to, like, it's just something impropriety. Like, it's like, you just have to be it's to your point, like what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. So I think a good one too is like, what are the public safety habits, right? So I think the situation with Miela was a good one, like staying together in groups, like always get in the habit when you're go out with your friends, like stay in a group so that you are, what is it, safety in numbers.
Yeah.
That's what they always say.
Yeah.
And I think the other part is like, where are you going? Avoid places that are dark and isolated, empty parking lots, parking garages, stairways. Like make sure like you're telling your daughters, especially, to stay in places where there's a lot of visibility.
Yeah.
Where if you do, get encountered by somebody acting crazy or something, you can yell out loud, make a scene, and ask for help. And plus your friends, if you're there together with your friends, even better.
Oh yeah.
And then like the whole like, oh, my battery died. Like, nah, that phone needs to be charged.
And that's all they're thinking about as they move around anyway.
Yeah.
Fully charged there.
And I mean, I think we as fathers and parents have to get in the habit of like, before our kids are even thinking about leaving the house, is your battery charged? Your cell phone charged? Like those are things like just basic preparedness things, like, just, and then using location services.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot of people shun it. A lot of people will think about it in a sense, oh, it's an invasion of privacy. You can have that internal conversation with yourself, but I think there's an element where we have to have the conversation with our kids, whereas I need you to be available to let me know where you are all the time.
Right.
If I miss your phone call or you miss my phone call, some way, somehow, I should be able to pop up and see that you are where you said you were going to be.
Right.
Right. And like my daughter right now, she'll, she doesn't, we've gotten her to that point where she doesn't mind sharing her, but even worse, I say worse for me, sometimes she'll check my location or my wife's or Jordan's location and be like, oh, you guys are close. Can you guys are home? Can you come and give me a ride?
That's right.
Right. And I'm like, what? It's not for that.
Right. or the other one for me is they know how much time they have before I'm home, before clean up the house.
Yeah.
Dad's on his way.
Exactly.
Get in the shower or whatever it is. So yeah. But I think it's a check too.
Yeah.
That at least their last location if something happens.
Right. If a battery
at least
not. Right.
At least that. So it helps. God forbid something like that happens.
Yeah.
I think the other one, the next kind of area to make safe kids is this one's a little tougher, and they have to really kind of critically think about this maybe to a degree, is this idea of safe strangers. Who are safe strangers?
Right.
Parents with kids. Could be a store clerk, someone related, the store security member there, somebody in a uniform, police officer.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then it may make sense to have a code word with your children just in case when you're calling them, so they give you something and you understand something is wrong.
Yeah.
So make up something with your kids that makes a lot of sense, that something that you...
I think that's a good idea, because you don't want them to be running around screaming fire. Right.
Right.
But you do want to give them a place where they can comfortably call you or text you and let you know in the statement, in the simple word, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
That I don't like this situation. Right. And I think it's a calm way for one, they can stay calm and just say, hey, when I use this word or this phrase, and you let them know, like, I'm at your full attention. I'm a parent. As a parent, I'm dropping whatever I'm doing to be there with you, to virtually hold your hand, so that we can get you into a safe position.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So,
Which also leads to this idea of they should never go anywhere without the parent understanding where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's old school, but it still works today. Come on.
Listen, same thing. Like, if the kids are saying the rule I grew up with was, you are where you tell me you were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if you deviate from that, I need a phone call.
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's not hey, I'm telling you. Is it okay if I go and do this thing?
Right.
Or is it okay if some of my friends' parents going to take me, said they're going to take this here? Sure, you can go. No problem. But at least it's a conversation.
Yeah. Sure.
No, I think the other part too is like, the trafficking reality, right? Like, and again, like keeping it grounded, but not fear-based. But like, I think when you think about, like, most, like, there's so much around trafficking, kidnapping, people, like, all these different situations.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times they know. Like, a lot of times it's gotten so savvy. You hear of people being groomed into it.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody whose sister or brother or friend knew somebody, they say they're gonna take us here, and next you know, like, you're absorbed and pulled into this world. So a lot of times that occurs. Yes, our fear is, our daughter passes out and somebody, carries them over the shoulder down the hall. But there's a world where this is happening and there's a network of people participating in it.
Yeah.
And this is where we want our children to be careful with who they interact with.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right.
Yeah.
Online platforms, gaming, social apps. We talked about this. Just be careful how we get, let your children be careful of how they're sharing information, what they're telling people about them. Are you plugged into these these processes, these apps, and figuring out, like, what is my kid doing? What is my kid playing? Who is my child talking to? Like, my daughter will be on her phone right now, and I'm like, who are you talking to? It should look at me crazy. I'm sorry. That's my phone.
That's right. And you're
my phone. That's my computer. That's my, like, all of that is mine. When you turn 18, you pay your own bills and you buy your own shit. Like, then you don't have to, then we can have a different conversation.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the part where, like, you have to understand and know that. And then the other piece is, sometimes they pose as peers, kind of like what I said, they are becoming so savvy.
Yeah.
And using people who they've groomed to groom others, right, and create the network. It's the whole Epstein thing, right? Like, so much of that was, like, friends who recruited.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's an after school special we've seen, but based in reality.
Yeah, it is based in reality.
Yeah.
But I think those are important things that we have to,
Right. And I think just to kind of close out this keeping our children safe and this idea of trafficking is just kind of these practical parental moves. Know your child's daily routines and their routes, what they're doing, what their schedule looks like. And I think also an example, I know this is something you probably do as well, is there are very specific pickup points I have for the children.
Yes.
If you're not there at that certain time, I need a call or something. Then we need to do something else if it seems to be serious. So it's just that kind of thing. This regular checking in with your child without being overbearing.
Right.
It's just to reach out. It doesn't have to be, are you in, it's, hey, how are things going? What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's a conversation.
Because even, I mean, as they progress, especially once your child hits middle school, you want them to feel this growing element of trust between them and their parent, this growing element of independence, this growing element that they're becoming young women or young men with the trust that and the openness that they have to share information with us, for us to comfortably ask something, and for us to have a dialogue. Right. About, like, okay, what's appropriate, what's safe, what's cool, what's not. And it'd be okay to have that discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then also along those same lines, we kind of mentioned it before, but it bears repeating, is you're teaching them to share this location without feeling that you're controlling them or they feel like they're being controlled by you. You're right. It's within a conversation. It's within the context of, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
I want you to be safe.
Yeah.
That's all I really care about. Yeah. Yeah. And just normalizing that conversation, particularly when they get into trouble, that you can always call me for anything. Not that you're in trouble.
Right.
Now, if something leads to something where there are repercussions and all the other, well, we're going to have a conversation about not getting into those situations again, that you need to think more clearly about the decisions that may follow.
Yeah. And the reality is, because while we're having these conversations with our children and we're asking them to, hey, like, take on these responsibilities, their own friends may not be doing this. Their own friends may not be being as responsible as we're asking our kids to. So they may have to kind of also help self-regulate their friends. And when their friends are saying, like, well, I was with them, but they were doing something that wasn't cool. So you should have, I should have probably called you and said, hey, like, my friends are doing something that's not cool. Can you come in?
Oh, yeah.
come and get me, or what should I do?
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think those are things that are.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And then I think lastly about kind of the practical parental moves is reinforce this sense of listening for them, giving them these lessons and these learnings from these small mistakes.
Yes.
Because you got to keep it relevant to their lives. What's going on now? If you do this, then you're not going to
Right.
be able to go out
Yeah.
because you hadn't done the right thing that you should have. And it's more that versus if you do this, well, you're not going to get into college and you're not going to get married. That's in the distance.
Yeah.
That's not something relevant to their lives right now. It's more, well, we know the responsibilities of having to clean up as we do in this house so that you can go out and do all the things that you want to do because you have finished with this task. Now you can move on to the next thing and not leave it for somebody else.
Yeah.
Just small mistakes that they might have made in the routine of their lives that, do this and then you can move on to this other thing.
Yeah. And I think another thing we talked to, I'll go back, I'll kind of bridge it a little bit of like, be practical, try not to be fear-based. I think the other part is try not to overreact.
True.
Right. Because kind of like what you went through with the emergency phone call being a trigger.
Yeah.
Like you could have overreacted. You could have been that 20-minute ride.
That's it.
From the mall to home.
Yeah.
Could have been 20 minutes of you laying into your daughter, into Miela, yelling, screaming, overreacting, letting the fear get to you. And in that case, your reaction may not be proportional.
Yeah.
To the occurrence, right? So we have to be also aware that when these situations come up, when these opportunities for lessons come up, that we're not overreacting, because when we overreact, our daughters, our sons will trust us less.
Right. And they may hear and that as we're yelling and overreacting that we're mad at them. No, we love them and we want them to understand, to be safe, here are the things that you need to think about. It was a practical lesson. The lesson is lost in the yelling if you're not having a conversation that is focused on where to listen, to speak to their listening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think let's like be very clear. Like places like the malls and parks, all these public spaces, like those are the common places that people get, that we think about, kids getting approached or overwhelmed or something like that, right? Like those are going to be the ones that are regular, right?
Yeah.
But then it's those other places, like Miela, not eating.
Yeah.
Right. That you got to kind of pay attention to. Like you want them to be and reduce the moments where they're less at risk.
Right. Right.
And I think that's going to be important places that we lean in to these conversations.
Yeah. That in those situations, those environments, this idea they can get separated from their people and they can be approached, and it can be a seriously overwhelming situation if they don't know how to handle it. I mean, this time it was a medical situation,
right,
for my daughter, and it was avoidable in the situation, not the eating and keeping herself hydrated, more the eating.
Yeah.
She loves water, so which is that was a good habit.
At least she's hydrated.
Yeah.
She's hungry, but she's hydrated.
But at the same time, in these moments, this is where she can be the most vulnerable and she's at the greatest risk.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to mitigate these situations.
Yep.
So any kind of thoughts about this?
No, I mean, like
readiness,
we just got to teach our kids to like take care of themselves.
Yep.
Don't let yourself go hungry, right? Like be aware of how you're feeling. I think it's always like, to your point, like that woman on the train was able to look at you and be like, hey, I'm about to pass out. Like she's an adult, she's I'm sure hyper focused on her health because of her pregnancy as well. But like our daughters, our children, men and women, young men and young women, they have to get to a point where they recognize, here's how I'm feeling.
Yep.
Physically, here's how I'm feeling mentally and emotionally. Here's like all of these, being able to do that. And then like people, again, they're looking for kids who are lost, disoriented and lost. It's like you see the kid in the middle of the the kid in the middle of the grocery store wandering around, right? There's somebody who's looking at that kid like, oh my gosh, where's his mother? And then there's somebody looking at that kid like, oh
Yeah, where's your mother?
yeah, exactly.
Where are your people?
Okay, let's
Oh, they're not here?
come this way,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
So I think that, teach our kids their body,
Mm-hmm.
like being safe. It's part of who and how they identify. Like they have to protect it. And then, I mean, basic, get something to eat. Don't leave the house hungry. Like this is lessons that our parents always teach us growing up. Like don't leave the house hungry. Right. And that's not because you don't go out and have to spend money and waste money. It's for your health and your safety. Yeah.
As we said, it's this physical readiness equals safety.
Right.
So, I mean, hey man, in this situation, I think what I learned most is that, and what hit me the most is she was okay.
Yeah.
It could have gone a lot worse.
Yep.
Could have been, I should say, a lot worse and gone a whole other direction, and quickly.
Yeah.
But folks were there to kind of look after her, so I'm just thankful for that.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not about like you again. Thankfully, the situation ended up fine.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's not about what happened. It's the worst case, what could have happened, and a whole bunch of you live life hoping that 99.9% of moments are okay, and it's like, well, what could have happened? There's going to be something that happens and it's like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
Right. But the worst case, could have happened. And we always say, you plan for the best, you hope for the best, but plan for the worst.
Yeah. No
Right.
question about it.
But no, I think this was a good discussion to have. I know there's a lot of people in our community out there who are walking on eggshells, letting their daughters, their sons leave every day, anxious.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of conversations that you can have with them before these events happen so that they know where the fire extinguisher is when somebody puts a little bag of chips in.
When the science experiment goes very wrong.
Yeah, when the science interference. As well as they know, let me take that bar with me even if I'm not hungry.
Exactly.
Right now.
Just whatever little food to just kind of get them through. And I think, as Jamal and I mentioned, we have this greater heightened sense of something happening and hoping that our children can respond because we've already gone through loss before.
Yeah.
And so it's this extra sense and weightiness going into the situations. We gotta let our children grow and become independent. That's why we have the family structure, so that they then go out and then they can repeat just that same structure for them if they get married or if they just have dogs and cats like Zoe. There's nothing wrong with dogs and cats. I love dogs and cats. I don't need a comment because I said that. All right, just
we're pro dogs.
Clear. Yes, very pro dog.
But we're pro our children.
You're pro children, more importantly. And so we thank you again for joining us on Getting Back Up, Finding Life After Death. Comment, send us.
Follow us on your favorite podcast platform.
Subscribe,
like, thumbs up.
Do it all.
All the stuff. We appreciate you joining us. Thanks. Thank you for joining us on Getting Back Up, Finding Life After Death. If something in today's episode spoke to you, pass it on because somebody out there needs to hear this.
For sure. We're on all the social mausoleums. So follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Mostly it will be in the form of Get Back Up Podcast.
And be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast.
And remember, getting knocked down is part of life.
But getting back up is how we live.
We'll see y'all next time.